Aloha, how are you doing? I really enjoyed seeing you today. Remember, when we're doing this, we're not here to get all of the information. We're here to get little nuggets of information, just little tiny tastes, things that we can remember or not. It's subjective. We're gonna do these things over and over again. So today, if you remember that a time signature deals with numbers and that 4/4 is a fraction, and that when we have 4 beats per measure and the quarter note gets the beat, then in your mind, when I say that, you're realizing a couple things. 4/4 is a time signature because it has a number in it. It's counting how many beats we have per measure. A measure is that thing with the 5 lines we call a staff. And when we draw the 5 lines out, we call that a staff until we put bars on it, which becomes a measure, which is what we count meter in, tempo, time. So when we see ourselves singing and playing songs, we find ourselves playing them with chords. You and I are finding out there are only so many chords. They're made of triads. When you and I played the piano today, we found where middle C was. We were able to find that on the black key, there are black notes, and then there are white notes. When we go to the grouping of 3 and the grouping of 2, we could center ourselves by finding the group of 2 and going down a half step. Every single one of these, no matter where we go to, is a C. Even the lowest ones, C1, C2, C3, and then C4. The C4 is an important one because when we play our 1, 3, 5 fingers, thumb, middle, pointer, or pinky, we actually get a C major. Moving it up, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. On an ukulele, when we just strum it, the thickest string is a C note. More importantly, it's middle C. The next note is an E, and the high note is an A. When we play this note, we get the high G. So when we play just these 3 strings and not this furthest one, we already have a C, E, G, which is a C major. So when we play the ukulele, we get something called a C6 or an A minor 7. The chords of last week are C major, and we can put our fingers here and play with it. We also have an F major. And today's new chord is gonna take a little tiny taste of both of those to introduce a chord that's in the C major family. I love this one because it's called a C sus2, or another chord called a C sus4. If we play the C major, which is played like this, and we add the F, we get this top note. Listen to that chord structure. What it does is it makes that chord feel like it's hovering above our head, and then when we remove the finger, it feels as if a natural vibration has occurred. What happens is it brings us back and resolves that chord. F sus4 has a C major with an F added, and it goes back to a C major. We can also play a D note underneath that C. And it gives us a D sus2. Why? Well, C, D. It's the note right next to it. 1, 2. The reason why C sus4 is called a sus4 is because C, D, E, F. It's the 4th note in a C major scale. You and I know that there are no sharps and flats in the C major scale, meaning no black keys. All white keys here. C, D, E, F, G, So what you and I are going to do, we're going to learn C major, C sus4, C sus2. We're going to learn C5. We're going to learn C sus2 up here. There are a lot of chords. However, you don't have to remember them all. We're just going to have fun playing, okay? So for this week, can you play your C major? And then play that with your teeter-totter. So we'd have 1 and rest and rest and rest and 2 and rest. I'm switching right after the playing. Switch, rest, rest, switch, rest, rest. What if we did our new chord? So if we're doing our F sus, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how I'm playing with the 1 and 3 fingers and the 2 and 4 fingers. I'm playing with my pointer finger on the F and my third finger on the C. I'm not doing a split from my 2 finger to the 3 finger, or 3 finger to the 4 finger, or 1 finger to the 2 finger. That seems like a very big gap. So what we do is we just leave a finger and a fret in between, and it really helps. F sus4 is our new chord. Try it with teeter-totters. And then C sus4 with the F note, and then C sus2 with the D note. Try those with our teeter-totters this week, changing up your fingers and have fun. If you have a question what the teeter-totters are, refer back to the other video and play those as well. When we get down to brass tacks here, you are so very close to learning C major. We have our F major, which means the addition of a finger makes the D minor. When we take this same D minor and we move it up, not a half step, but a whole step. Remember how if we went a half step, a whole step is a minor second plus a minor second, which might say major second. So if we take D minor and a second fingering and move it up a major second and cover the one note we aren't playing when we play here, that gives us an E minor. We can also play this beauty, which is the E minor. I really like it because it feels really good. 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret on the A string, E string, and C string. And then we leave the high G string open. Yeah, that's our E minor. So we're gonna learn all these in congruence, but you already know the C, you already know the F. If you know the F, the D minor looks exactly like it, and it's relative to it. The E minor is kind of a chord of its own, but it's fun to play, so why not learn it? The F we know a G major a little bit, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how to make a G major 7, and then a G7 next week. And we're gonna learn why those sound good. And there's a really pretty song that I'd like you to hear. Wonderful. It was so nice seeing you this week. I cannot wait to see you next week. Aloha.